of arbitration myself, I am particularly excited to lead today's conversation. Before we delve into our main topic, let's discuss the significance of the QSAP here in the Middle East and the Pakistan. Established in 2007, the Quantity Surveyors Association of Pakistan is a non-political and non-profit forum dedicated to quantity surveying and the construction industry. The QSAP serves as a platform for professionals to exchange ideas, stay updated on the industry developments, and receive support for career growth. Committed to excellence, the QSAP aims to instill professionalism, inspire support, and engage members for future success, guided by our motto, individual efforts, collective success. Our mission is to gather and share professional knowledge, facilitate interactions, and promote transparency and equal opportunities. Let us move on and introduce the board members. We have Mr. Laik Hassan, the chair, who is the first Pakistani to be appointed as the chair for the Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors, UK, the KSA Advisory Board. The vice chair, Mohammad Faisal Chaudhry, who is the associate director at ACOM UAE and the founding member of the QSAP. Other board members include Mr. Imtiaz Ashraf, who is the president of the UAE chapter, Mr. Zahid Mahmood, president of the Qatar chapter, Mr. Baba Zahir, president of the KSA chapter, and Mr. Muhammad Tanveer Akhtar, vice president of the KSA chapter. The presidents of the Oman and the Pakistani chapter are in works and are yet to be announced. The QSAP has multiple affiliations. Firstly, the Pakistan Association Dubai, where the MOU was signed in December 2018. The Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors, RICS, signed an MOU in Dubai in February of 2023. The University of Management and Technology signed an MOU in December 2022. And lastly, the Association of Muslim Surveyors. There are also multiple communities within the QSAP, each crucial to its mission. We have the Knowledge Delivery Committee, the Talent Hunt Committee, IT Committee, Administration Committee, Career Support Committee, and Academic Support Committee. Finally, as we've gained some insight into the vital role of the QSAP, I'm now delighted to introduce our esteemed guest speaker, Mian Sheraz, who is the founding chair of the CIArb Pakistani branch with expertise in construction law and dispute resolution. Let's welcome him to shed light on the esteemed CIArb membership and its relevance to our profession.
Thank you, Abdullah. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
Just to start up with the name of Allah, I am a civil engineer by background, and I later turned to an English barrister. Currently, I'm working as a construction barrister in the construction industry, and I work with the number 5 barrister chambers, and I operate from their business and property division in the United Kingdom. Since I was from the engineering background, I had that edge of getting into that construction industry as compared to, I was giving the edge as compared to other normal lawyers. Although there are certain lawyers who are really qualified and have their own set of experience in the construction law, but predominantly the combination of law with engineering, this is gaining a lot of traction for a few reasons. Before I get on to what arbitration or what mediation is, I think I need to first start up with the basic idea of what alternative dispute resolution is. For last 100 years, when the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators was incorporated, it was established in 1915 in the United Kingdom. It was granted the Royal Charter to award certificates and different kind of diplomas and other degrees in 1979. Since its inception, there are 44 branches of the Chartered Institute which are operating in 44 different jurisdictions at the moment. Pakistan is their 42nd branch. So we were incepted in May 2022. We were able to do one training in 2022, And then we did multiple series of different trainings from mediation to arbitration, and some other courses in 2023. We have got some other plans for 2024 as well. The new course diary is already out. So what Chartered Institute of Arbitrator is, since it's from its name, arbitrators, this organization is a not-for-profit organization which was built to promote the alternatives for the dispute resolution. So alternative of what? So we call it the alternative to the litigation system. It was realized almost 115 years ago that the that the court systems, they are getting busy, and probably they might not be able to take on the load of different specialist cases. For example, the construction industry itself. So from there, the concept of alternatives started to come in. We need to be mindful that when a dispute comes in, the parties, they have the utmost autonomy of choosing the jurisdiction. For example, if they want to go to a specific court, they can write it down in the contract, and this is what we do when we negotiate a contract or when we finalize the contract. Or we can mention that instead of going to the court litigation system, we can opt to go for arbitration or some other form of dispute resolution. From the basics, there are two main objectives of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators. One, we provide trainings, training in almost all the spectrums of alternative dispute resolution methodologies. I will come on to different type of ADR methods in a short while, but to give you an idea, the names of different methodologies that are called as or that come under the umbrella for the alternative dispute resolution, that starts from mediation. And then we have got adjudication, people who are working in the contract side, or the ones who are into international contracts, or the one who have used the FIDIC Red Book or the Silver Book, which gives mention of contractual adjudication. They must be familiar with the type of adjudication or the method which is known as adjudication. And in different parts of the world, we have got statutory adjudication as well. For example, in the United Kingdom, we have got a 28-day period where we have to decide the matter, which comes from the construction industry itself only. So from mediation, then we go on to adjudication, and then we have got arbitration in between. I'm not sure how many of you have heard all of these terminologies. And then the new things have also started to pop in. For example, the dispute boards, which is in 2017 FIDIC Red Book suites, they now require to have a dispute boards, which are of 2-3 different types. And then with the passage of time, a combination of 2 different methodologies have also started to develop. For example, if you're conducting a mediation, so right in the middle of mediation, if you think the mediation is not performing well, so you can convert the mediation process right into the arbitration, and vice versa. During the arbitration, you can convert it into mediation. When we get into further details of what mediation or arbitration is, then hopefully you'll get a deeper understanding of these methodologies. So this is one leg of the Chartered Institute. So we train people, predominantly engineers. You will be amazed, it's not lawyers. For some reason, people, they think that the alternatives to dispute resolution is predominantly being overshadowed by the lawyers, which is absolutely not correct. And just to give you the understanding, the process of arbitration, it was erupted because of it was designed because of the construction industry, and especially those international contracts from the construction industry itself, where where it is the norm that the judges who are qualified lawyers, maybe with a practice background of 15, 20, 25 years, but they don't have those selective and those relevant terminologies and experience in that specific field. For example, if you have got a dispute from a dam project, I think engineers who are into the construction or development of dam, they are most suited to be appointed as the arbitrators, because they understand the terminologies and the problems that are being faced or that has been erupted, rather than a civil judge or a session judge or somebody like this. So from that, so this is one of the features of arbitration, and some other alternative dispute resolution methodologies that the parties they chooses that they have the authority to choose the arbitrator themselves. So we choose the arbitrator on the basis of their qualification and their specific skill set. So if we are talking about the construction industry, most of the arbitrators that are being appointed, they are engineers who then later do the fellowship courses for the Chartered Institute, and they are then appointed as an arbitrators. So from that one leg of trainings, what we provide, the second part is we do dispute appointment service. So Chartered Institute is also very familiar in providing the CVs in terms of ad hoc arbitration. So there are like two different type of arbitration. One is ad hoc, where you give the CVs to the parties, they choose an arbitrator, and then it's upon the arbitrator and between the parties. The institute they does not involve itself into the arbitral proceedings. And then there is another methodology which is considered, which is known as the institutional arbitration. So in that regard, that you go to an institute, for example, Singapore International Arbitration Center, or the former DIFC, which is now converted into DIAC, Dubai International Arbitration Center. We have got QIC DRC in Qatar. We have got a new in Saudi CCA, Center for Commercial Arbitration. So these centers, they then take on the case just like a court, where they present themselves to be responsible for the conduct of the arbitral proceedings. And then at the end of the day, you get an award in arbitration, which award is almost equivalent to a core degree, which is then enforced. So for dispute appointment service, when we came to Pakistan, so the first challenge in Pakistan was the Chartered Institute. They only provide qualified and trained professionals who are qualified by the Chartered Institute itself. So since there was no such concept of trainings, especially in arbitration, mediation, and other ADR methods in Pakistan. So in 2022, the first thing was, instead of right away starting up with the dispute appointment service, which is very much needed in Pakistan, the first idea which we developed was to first start training people. And then we got into a contract with the Islamabad High Court, where we trained 50 mediators who have now been appointed as mediators with the Islamabad High Court as a set of neutrals. So if somebody gets the accredited mediation training from Chartered Institute, they become eligible to be registered with the Islamabad High Court, and the relevant cases will then be referred to those relevant professionals. At the moment, it's not just lawyers. There are very few engineers which have who are accredited mediators, but this is the gray area. This is the place where, especially if you're in Pakistan, and if you are around that area which comes under Islamabad and surroundings, so there's a huge gap. All the construction cases, they are at the moment being referred to non-engineers, and there is a lot of disputes with regard to China-Pakistan economic corridors and a number of other international companies which come into contract with the national with the national government. So the central government of Pakistan, it's all based in Islamabad. So Islamabad High Court is pretty relevant to that element. Recently, we entered into a memorandum of understanding with Pakistan Engineering Council, the regulator itself, for their capacity building. So we are developing their arbitration center, which will take probably another 5 to 6 months, and they will get the new rules, the technical infrastructure from the Chartered Institute, and they have got the policy that they don't want to invite lawyers into Engineering Council. They want at the moment, the Conciliation Arbitration Committee, which takes on with the construction dispute, they have got engineers only panel of arbitrators, which means most of you, I believe, are from the engineering side, and you qualify to become a panel member on the Pakistan Engineering Council's roster and panel. So these two things, dispute appointment service and the trainings at the same time. When you have undertaken some sort of a training, so we have got module 1, module 2, and module 3, and one introduction courses for each segment. For example, if we are talking about mediation, we have got a course, Introduction to Mediation, which is just a starter course, which desensitize people, 4 hours of training. It's an online course, and then if you pass the exam, you're qualified to become a member of the Chartered Institute. So there comes the membership segment, or the integration of how the institute works. So once you are qualified by the Chartered Institute, you have got 3 different levels, the 3 different tiers of memberships which we offer, starting from the associate membership, going on to so associate membership. We have got the post nominals of CIArb, which you can use in front of your name, for exactly like we use PE once we are a professional engineer. And some other post nominals. The other one is CIArb. So when you do module 1 of any of the dispute resolution methods, for example, mediation module 1, or arbitration module 1, or adjudication module 1, and if you pass the exam, then you become CIArb. So most of the lawyers, or the one who represent their companies in contract negotiation, contract drafting, and at the end of the day, before sending the claim, you need to develop that claim. So most of these people, whether they are engineers or they are lawyers, in international construction industry, they opt to choose to undergo this module 1 of arbitration and module 1 of adjudication. Um, and then the prime level, which we call the fellowship. So the fellow is a professional who has passed an award writing exam. So what is an award writing exam? So we give case documents for 2 different of a dispute, and their documents are then sent down to the candidate, and we require them to write an enforceable award, an award which is enforceable in the English high courts. So the bar is a bit high, but most of the people, they went through from introduction courses to module 1, and then we have got module 2, module 3. Module 2 is about the legal thing. So if you are not from the legal background, so you need to undergo module 2, which gives you a basic bit of an idea about the legal things. As a non-legal professional, we will equip you of how you have to write down those things, or on what basis or on what grounds you develop those drafts. And this is how we work on. And then module 3 is award writing. So from module 1 to, and the moment you do module 3, you become a fellow. A fellow is then is a qualified candidate, a qualified person, or a qualified professional who can now be appointed as an arbitrator. So a lawyer is different, or claims consultant is different, the one who works with the parties. So arbitrator is the one before whom we present the case, and we request them to issue a binding decision, which is then enforceable through the courts. So these are the 3 membership levels, from associate membership, CIArb, to member CIArb, CIArb, and then the final one, which is the fellow of CIArb, CIArb. So you become a member of the institute. So there are a number of benefits which you draw by becoming a member. The most important of which is networking, not just locally. Like in Pakistan, we are engaging with the members. We do have those breakfasts, lunches, dinners, to develop that professional network, because this is what we realize, that most of the business that comes out in this industry is through referrals. So networking is the key, and it's not just limited to Pakistan. Then you become a member of that global community, and CIArb is really proactive in those networking events. If you are available, you can have in person. You can attend it in person, or you can have virtual meetups as well. I think 3 or 4 days ago, Chartered Institute have opened up their 44th branch in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We have got one branch in Qatar. We have got a branch in UAE. We don't have a branch in Oman, and we've got one branch in Egypt. And so these branches, they then help you to network, to join with other communities, not just limited to lawyers and engineers, but the ones who are thick and thin, connected with international arbitrations, with construction adjudications, and with construction mediation setups. So this is primarily about what the Chartered Institute is and what we do. So our focus is on engineers. Since being engineer myself, this profession is really close to my heart, and I believe this is the most um, underrated subject before the civil engineers for some reason. I don't know why they think they need to be legally qualified before they can become a member or they can be part of this ADR setup. My experience and my understanding is engineers are more suited, they are more qualified to become arbitrators. And so we have got two different. If I talk about in terms of as a career pathway, how to go about it. What I have seen is engineers who have not done any sort of legal qualification, but with their own hardcore experience of maybe 20-25 years and plus. Most of these engineers are heading up their contract divisions of different organizations, where then they tend to not just develop the draft, they negotiate the contract, they try to put on those different clauses in the contract, and we suggest and recommend them that it is highly appropriate to get the professional to get that professional knowledge or professional training, which at the moment Chartered Institute is the only international organization that trains for arbitration. There are few organizations that train on mediation, which we call gold standard besides the Chartered Institute. But in arbitration and for adjudication, there is none. The only course that we provide for adjudication is on statutory adjudication at the moment. There are some FEDIC contractual adjudication as well, which we'll be launching in Pakistan. And in terms of coming back to why I changed my career and why I am suggesting that people like you who are into the engineering side, what benefits can you draw? So at a certain stage of your seniority, you are then being sent out for contract negotiations, and then for contract management, contract administration. These all, you need to know what are the rights and obligations which are in that contract which you are about to enforce. And so this is just one part. But what if the contract fails? What about the breach of contract? And the construction industry is all filled with disputes. We say that there is no construction project which is dispute free. You cannot say 99%. It's like 100% project. They do undergo some sort of dispute when it is crystallized, and we need to know how to tackle it when the dispute has been arise. So we go back to the contract. We need to find out if it is an extension of time claim, if we are asking for liquidated damages, if it is some other thing, maybe something wrong which has been done by the employer or the contractor or the subcontractor, or maybe by the consultant. Somebody is to be blamed for. So all these dimension and areas which once you are on field, you have been doing those supervisory roles. But then as you become senior, it's more appropriate for you to get on to the supervisory roles, and especially in the arbitration side, if you want to develop yourself as an arbitrator, which I believe most of the companies, they don't mind you working with them. For example, if you're working with Descon, I'm sure you will be able to act as an arbitrator, which does not take much of your time. While if you have got one hearing after a couple of months, where you go and listen to both the parties, and then you issue the procedural orders, and you eventually take it on for the award. So this is what the basic idea and dynamics at the moment are. And for Pakistan, since it's an international organization, it was really difficult for us to convince the headquarters in London that we might not be able to afford the same prices which the HQ offers. But then the challenge was, if they are going to give us a discounted rate, what about other 43 or other 42 branches? But then for first 3 years, we were given a relatively, maybe highly discounted rates, which we have offered in the Pakistani market. And this is what we are now looking for to avail this opportunity. I think it's 1/3 the prices at the moment, which will soon be like and at the end of this year, 2024. So that discounted period might go off. And then we have to come back to those GPB in their pounds, fees and all the other elements. So the opportunity we have up until end of this year for the engineering fraternity from Pakistan. So I think this is the basics of what the Chartered Institute is doing. If you have got any questions, please ask with regard to the memberships, with regard to the qualifications, with regard to the routes of qualification and the dispute appointment thing, and how things are working around in other jurisdictions. I'm open for questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mian Sheraz. Actually, my name is Babar Zahir Arshad. I'm also the president of QSAP KSA. So usually I follow you through LinkedIn, and walaikum assalam. And I'm really impressed, by the way that you conduct yourself and the level of intellect you have. And mashallah, you're attending many events. I can see that. So
and I think we have got just one question on the chat box.
Yeah, but there will be a few questions from my side as well. And anyway, I think we just we started to getting some
yes
question. So the first question is by Mr. Shahzad Minhas. The question he has is that what is the criteria for getting enrolled in the trainings you just mentioned?
So Shahzad, there is no such mandatory requirement that you need to be this much qualified or that much qualified, whether you have done bachelor's or master's engineering or architecture, or you're a lawyer. There is no such requirement. You need to see from where you are going to starting it up from. So for module one is a bit is quite a thing. Although I have trained this year when we conducted courses in Islamabad and in Lahore. I think 40% of the candidates they were engineers, and they were really jittery in the initial days. They thought this is going to be really difficult for them, but almost all of them passed the exams, which is really encouraging for me. So you don't really need to have some. It depends on what level of career are you at the moment. If you are a newly graduate, probably you need to. I'll suggest to start up with the first introduction course. So to get the basic idea of what ADR is. But if you are in the field for like maybe 3 to 4 or 5 years PQE, I think module 1 can be a good start where you can understand of how things are going on. So yes, this is what my my 2 cents are on the type of.
Thank you. The next question is from Mr. Ajmal. The question he's asking, I think, what is the duration for arbitration? I guess that he's talking about the dispute, that how much time the arbitration procedure will take until the award.
Yeah, so Ajmal, there is no fixed timelines for arbitration. If we talk about the 1940 Arbitration Act in Pakistan, so it requires for the arbitrator to finish the arbitration within 4 months. I've never seen anything settled down in 4 months in Pakistan. It takes years and years. In international arbitration, there is no such thing as you have to settle a case in 3 months or 6 months or 12 months. There is a new concept that has recently been arrived, and we call it the expedited rules. But the parties has to opt for it. For expedited rules, they have to finish the arbitration in 90 days. So it also depends on the institute you are choosing. Some institutes are really fast track. For example, if you go to Singapore or to Dubai, and if that arbitration institute is providing expedited arbitration services, you get the decision for your dispute in 90 days. But then there are certain other requirements as well, because if you have to analyze the evidence, if you have to go to the site, if you have got not minimal, maybe more than the minimal witnesses which you have to examine, then 90 days is not enough. But in an ideal scenario, if we talk about good practices, a dispute is settled between 12 to 18 months, unless the parties are not willing and they are just playing some delaying techniques. So this is how the timing issue of what is the duration for arbitration is.
Thank you. I hope Mr. Ajmal, he got his answer. Next question is from Mr. Shah Zulfikar. The question he has is that how much minimum time required for a civil engineer to become the ASOC CIArb? I think he's asking for the first level of membership for the
Associate
CIArb.
membership. So Shah Zulfikar, this is the minimal course, introduction to ADR, or introduction to arbitration, or introduction to mediation. So these are three courses which are the introduction courses. It's a 4-hour course. So between 4 to 6 hours, 2 hours of exam. It's just a day which you require. And it's really plain, simple and easy. We will only give you the basic taste and flavor and idea of what ADR is. We will give you the proper academic definitions of mediation, and then arbitration, and then adjudication, and how these methods are applied and used. So 1 day of training. For module 1, it's for module 1 is like we conduct the training for 4 hours in a day, because most of the people who join us for these trainings, they are professionals. So we can't have Monday to Friday. It depends on the cohort as well, if people are willing to spend Thursday, Friday. So it's 6 classes, which is spread over 3 weeks, spread over 3 months, after every 3 weeks. So you have got 2 classes on a weekend, then we give you 3 weeks to study, and then another 2 classes, 4 hours each. We give you another 3 weeks to study, and then the last set of 3 classes. So it's 6 days, 6 half days for module 1. Spread it over a span of 3 months, where you need to do extensive study. We issue the study material probably 3 to 4 weeks in advance, and we require the candidates to go through those materials first before coming down to us. I hope I've answered this, not just associate CIArb, but also MCIArb. And Baba Sahib, if you allow me, there is one question which was asked by Shehzad. I think we missed it. How to get enrolled for the training courses? I can write down the email address and the WhatsApp number of the branch. So you can send an email to them with your interest, and then somebody from the branch will get back to you, or you can send a WhatsApp text to the branch, and then the branch will take care of the rest. Over to you, Baba Sahib.
Thank you, Mr. The next question is from Mr. Nisar Ahmad. The question is that what is the minimum qualification one shall have to get admitted in CIArb? I think for the memberships, he might be saying.
But I think I answered it already. There is no minimum or basic qualification which is required. I think this is what the question was. What will be the criteria for getting enrolled? So there is no basic qualification required to get admission. Whether you are from the legal background, engineering, architecture, any background, whether you are a student or you are 30 years old, experienced practitioner in any of the fields, there is no such requirement. It's a totally new thing where you go, you learn, and then we certify you that you have qualified to become associate member, or you are qualified to become MCIArb or FCIArb. So it's separate. It's different. So we have got members from engineering, we have got engineers, architects, accountants. There's a huge big domain of accountants who act as arbitrators in tax matters, not just in Pakistan, also around the globe, and other. So in family mediations, we need to have arbitrators. So you don't need to be to have some specific training. So this is what the training is. This is the specialized training in terms of diplomas and short courses which you develop your muscle in.
Thank you. The next question we have from Mr. Shahzad Minhas. The question is that the courses will be online, as some of us are outside Pakistan, like most of us, we are in the Middle East.
Yes.
So are these online and we can, yes.
Yeah. So Babar, what we decided or what we were thinking of accommodating the members of QSAP especially, that we can have an online course for you dedicated for if somebody comes from QSAP. We are even willing to give some additional discounted thing to QSAP. I was unable to speak to Lake Sub, but this is what we discussed in order to get in order to motivate the associate engineers and the engineers coming through QSAP. We will be conducting a separate online course at the moment. If we are not talking about the QSAP route, so we have got 3 in-person trainings and 1 online training. Once you will send an email to the branch or WhatsApp the message, you will get the course diary. So from that diary, you can see when is the online course taking place, and if should you wish, you can enroll it for that online course.
Thank you. Yes. The next is the crunch question, basically from Mr. Naveed Alam. So he's asking the fee details about the different levels.
I think the exact details will be you can get those details from the branch once you send what exactly. Like it's for introduction course is different. For module 1, if you talk about mediation, it's different. If you talk about adjudication, it's different. But for module 1, ranges between I think 175,000 rupees to 225,000 rupees for module 1, which is I think less than £1,000. The same course is being offered around £2,700 from the HQ. And for introduction courses, it is something around, initially it was £76, but something between 45,000 to 50,000. It's that is the introduction courses for any one of the ADR or mediation or arbitration.
Yes, one associated question with this I would like to ask that the membership CIArb, are they considering, or are you in conversation with them for any compassionate discount for the Pakistani members or Pakistani professionals for CIArb? You know that there is a monthly, there is a yearly membership fee. So is there anything on the table right now?
I am actively persuading this, and in the recent meeting, I was joined by Malaysia and 2 more jurisdictions who believe that they need to do something about it. So the matter has now been referred to one of the World Bank studies, which I think recently been issued, that which countries have got as per their GDP ratio. So probably something will come out. One thing is Pakistan is already in Band D. So if for example, you become a member and you've got the option to choose 2 branches. So if you say I want to join the London branch, so London branch comes in Band A. So the fees for Band A is different as compared to fee for Band D. So we are already a little reduced. And for MCI up until the member level, fees are reduced for this part of the world. For fellowship, they don't give any discounts whether you are in Ghana or in India or in Pakistan. And then this discussion is also going on with the HQ that we need to come up with the local PKR kind of a thing for the Pakistani members. And I hope we'll get some good news in maybe somewhere around mid of this year.
Thank you, Mian sir. Next question is, I think, a bit of personal, but anyway, still I will ask you that Mr. Shah Zulfikar, he's asking that are you from the 97th session of civil engineering UET? Seems a batchmate of you.
I am. Yeah, that's correct. I'm 97 UET.
Thank you. The next question, I think you have cleared it. Muhammad Kabir Saab, he has a question that can anyone provide the guidance if we share our CV for enrollment? And best initiative, I cannot understand this question, by the way. But anyway, you can.
Talking about, because if you are already in the field, if you have got some experience, so on the basis of experience, you can also request for exemptions. So I don't know if you are paid CV in order to find out and to gauge whether you are qualified for exemptions or not. But if you don't have any experience in ADR, we really don't need your CV. We just need your application that you are interested, and we need to know which program are you interested in. Is it the basic introduction thing or the module 1 program? So whatever it is, accordingly, we will give you the fees, and then you're good to go. You're enrolled.
Thank you, Mian Sheraz. The next question is from Mr. Shahid Imran. It's again about the online attendance of the training. So I think you have answered it already. Next question from Mr. Shahzad Hussain. What he's saying that he's waiting for the CIArb result after completing the module 1 of international arbitration. He's saying, can you please provide me details on the opportunities available specifically for registering with the Islamabad High Court?
Shehzad Sahab, for Islamabad High Court, they require module 1 in mediation. And once you do the module 1 for mediation, you also become accredited mediator. So the minimum standard that the Islamabad High Court has put up is you have to be an accredited mediator from the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators. So this arbitration module 1, it might work if you can. I think on this basis you might get enrolled with the Sindh High Court. They don't have such particular requirement that you need to do module 1. But in Islamabad, since they sponsored the first mediation training, so I think they are mindful for this thing. You can get the details from the website, and still, if you send a message to the branch, and then I can get you the specific answer to this question. But I don't think on CIArb you'll be for arbitration you'll be able to be appointed as but always I think you should try. I'll get some response from your side, like the experience through you as well.
Thank you. Next question we have from Mr. Khalid. Actually, he want to progress from CIArb to CIArb, so he's asking for some guidance.
So he need to Khalid sir, you need to join module 1, and now the bigger question is you need to become a mediator or an arbitrator or both. If you need to become both, then you need to do both of the trainings. Mediation is now, for last 5 years or 7 years, mediation is the new thing. It is now getting popular. And why mediation is the two parties? I don't dictate anything. I can't dictate anything. I cannot advise. What the only thing I can do is I can assist them to the same negotiations which might have been taking place 2 days previously, and they failed, maybe because of the attitudes, because of human psychology. So they need to have some time. We call it assisted negotiations, when you have got a third party neutral who is helping you out, diffusing your emotions, letting you sit down together, and usually it takes 4 hours maximum, 1 day of mediation. In some cases, if you are not utilizing the entire day, what you can do is you can have 2 days of mediation, but that's it. Unless it's an investor state mediation, which are pretty long. So as you can see, 2 days or maybe 1 day of mediation versus 18 months of arbitration. So 18 months of arbitration as compared to 1 day of mediation is way too costly. And at the end of the day, still after arbitration, one party wins, the other loses, which means it's not the end of the litigation. The losing party is going to challenge the award somewhere. But if the mediation succeeds, which means the end of the litigation, because you get out of the mediation with the settlement agreement that both the parties have entered into a contract. So you need to first do your research. Mediation is also gaining traction in the construction industry for arbitration. So you need to choose if mediation it is, then module 1 for mediation. You will also become accredited mediator by conducting module 1. But if you want to pursue your career in arbitration, then module 1 international arbitration will be the best bet.
Thank you for the detailed answer. Yes, the next question from I think Mr. Kabir. He clarified his first question of the CV, which you have answered. So we'll move to the next question from Mr. Ghulam Dastagir. So he's asking that is CIArb Pakistan conducting institutional arbitration?
No, sir, we don't do institutional arbitration. The Chartered Institute, as a matter of their policy globally, we only act as ad hoc arbitration centers, where the responsibility which we undertake as an institute is to maintain a register, or what we call the roster of arbitrators. So we train you, and then we then put your name on the roster, and then we promote you in the market. So when the parties they come to us to when at the time of the discussing the CVs. So the process is we provide 3 CVs to both the parties, and if they are if they're able to agree on one common CV, then it means the arbitrator is appointed. But in some cases, the parties are unable to agree on one common person from those 3 CVs. We give them 14 days. We give them another round of 3 CVs. So from 6 CVs, they have to choose an arbitrator. But if they are unable to choose from even the second round of that CVs, then the president or the chair of the branch, of the CIArb branch, is empowered to then appoint somebody on his own accord to become an arbitrator. So this is what we do. And then once the arbitrator is there, then there is the contract between the arbitrator and the parties. We are not involved and we take no responsibility about the conduct of the arbitration proceeding. Yes, since we maintain the roster, we maintain the panel, and the Chartered Institute has got very strict regulatory compliances, just like any other institute in England. So it's just an email away. If you've got any problem with the arbitrator, and you write down to the HQ who maintains the register. It's not the branch in Pakistan who maintains the register. So they initiate, they constitute a committee, disciplinary committee, who then investigate the matter. And if the person is found guilty, we remove the person from the role from the roster. In terms of institutional arbitration, and the procedure which I've just guided you, this is the generic procedure which is taking place in Pakistan at the moment. We don't have institutional arbitration at all, and we are just looking forward to have some gold standard internationally recognized international arbitration institutes in Pakistan. But CIArb is not an institute who conduct the institutional arbitration.
Thank you very much, Mian. The next question is we have from Mr. Azim. He's asking that if we are in Qatar, I think he's asking for the memberships. Shall we contact CIArb Qatar branch or through website, CIArb website?
So Azim sir, if you are filled loaded with money, you can go to Qatar or to HQ. Coming down to Pakistan branch will give you the discounted rates which I just mentioned. Qatar has got their own standardized rates, and I'm talking about the delivery of the courses. You can always have, once you clear the exam and you become a member, you can always have Pakistan as your primary branch, so that you can draw the benefits. There is absolutely no difference, or from the Pakistan branch or from the Ghana branch. So it's just a strategic move that you say, by connecting or by being a member from the Pakistan branch, you'll be able to get all those discounts which are being offered to the Pakistani nationals or the Pakistani branch. And then you can have the secondary branch as Qatar, so that you can be part of that networking place in which is taking place in Qatar through CIArb branch. I hope I'm able to I've answered your question.
Thank you. Mian sir, next question we have from Mr. Uwais Khan. I think he scrolled the website, and what he can see is that what is mentioned on the website, CIArb website, a copy of reference letter from any individual, preferable CIArb member at any grade who have the first-hand experience of you in the role of dispute resolver or party representatives within last 6 months, as mentioned on CIArb website, to get admission in associate membership. So if you can please
Abhas,
clarify.
it's not only for the associate membership, it's also for MCIArb. What this reference letter means that when you, so we are talking about exemptions now. You contact HQ and you say, see, I've got some experience in at least that 4-hour training course is not relevant to me. I'm a barrister. I'm working in the field for last 20 years. And I know what ADR methodologies are. And I have been representing in various courts of law in England and in Pakistan. So please exempt the module 1 and allow me to become an associate member directly. So this is the evidence which they are asking for you to get a letter, a reference letter for somebody, if you can see, who have the first-hand experience of you, which means somebody who have seen you, if you have worked with me, and I know, or maybe if you have been have seen you appearing before the court, and I know you have got that requisite knowledge about arbitration or mediation, I will issue you a letter confirming that yes, I am so and so, and I confirm. So he should be exempted. So he should be exempted from the associate membership or even from the MCIR. I hope I've answered your. So if still you've got any confusion, please let me know. I think I've tried to answer. So it can be anybody that I know. Mr. Mohammad Abbas Khan is capable and he knows the basics of ADR, so he should be exempted.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Next question from Mr. Ahmed Ayaz. What is the exact advantage of the membership? How can I work as an arbitrator in UAE with this membership, and how to get myself recognized with the government of UAE?
About the recognition which any government gives, unless, for example, the Islamabad High Court, they developed or formed their own rules and they require to be 40 hours accredited mediator in order to get enlisted. So we need to see which exactly in which department maybe you're talking about. If it is their own thing. So the advantage of membership is, number one, you will have the post nominals. Like I write FCIR with my name, which means I am requisite knowledge that I can produce an enforceable award. So you are safe. If you are going to appoint me as an arbitrator, I have been tested, and I can court. It will not be set aside. It will not then be sent down back to the arbitrator. For example, if you have spent 1.5 or 2 years in arbitration, a lot of cost and fees, you're back to square one. So you need to choose an arbitrator pretty craftily. So this is where these qualifications work. Knowledge set at least with them. So if they have got that knowledge set, which means you are qualified enough to be Of course, you cannot be appointed as an arbitrator unless you are a fellow. But with CIArb, you can do other parts of the claims. How can I work as an arbitrator? So you will then join the UAE branch, and you have to promote yourself as an arbitrator. And what we say is in the international, something on your CV, which means you need to build up connections with people who can allow you to work with them as assistants, mediator, which you do as you don't charge money. For example, I didn't charge anything for my first few shadowships. We call it shadow, that I was shadowing somebody, assisting them doing the research and stuff, so that I can write down something in my CV that this is what I've done in international arbitration. It's like chicken and egg kind of a thing. You need to have something on your CV before you get your first appointment, and you have to market your. This is where shape thing and branches comes in. You need some good networking. So you go to these networking events. You start meeting people. You distribute your results. The work started to pour in. So the work comes down on the basis of your personal experience of whatever getting the arbitration appointments. So I hope I've answered this question.
Yes. Thank you very much. The next question, actually, I received on my personal WhatsApp. It is from Mr. Gultasab Ismail. The question he has is that he's asking that CIArb, if they only offer the training or also they are taking the real-time cases as well. And also, can we get their dispute resolution service within Middle East?
So for Middle East, you need to it depends which part of Middle East. And then it also depends what type of dispute appointment are you looking for. As I just explained, since we only do ad hoc appointment service or ad hoc arbitration, we have got a model clause which you can download from the website. The Chartered Institute actively promotes their dispute, their model clause to be inserted at the time of signing of the contract. So people who understand this whole process, we need to have that specific dispute resolution clause in the contract at the time of signing of that contract. So we insert that clause and we empower the parties that in case of a dispute, any of the parties, the two contracting parties, maybe the employer or the contractor, they can then issue a notice of arbitration to the Chartered Institute. And then immediately upon receiving of the notice, we will then provide you with 3 CVs, and we ask you to choose one person from these 3 CVs. So this is the type of a dispute appointment service that we provide. And in opposed to the to one of the questions that about the institutional arbitration services, so we don't have any institute in Pakistan, the one who provides the institutional arbitration services. If 2 years before 2 years, or even without the CIArb model clause, the current procedure is either the parties, they choose one of the person, or you go to the civil court, and then the civil court appoints somebody. Most of the cases they appoint a retired judge as an arbitrator, and then there you go, you've got an arbitrator. He will then conduct. The entire process is similar to what the only thing we are doing is we are providing you with the arbitrator and with the rules of the Chartered Institute, which are organized, segmented, tried and tested, being updated every now and then. So that those rules will then be given to the arbitrator, that you have to conduct the arbitration proceeding within those rules.
Mia sir, just to extend this question that because of the fact that we have you just mentioned that there is DIFC in Dubai and we have Saudi Center for Commercial Arbitration here in Saudi Arabia. So usually the award is because it's because of the fact also that it is an adversarial means of dispute resolution. So usually the courts,
Yep.
you have to go to the court to enforce them. So how do you see
Yep.
that an award, arbitral award given by the Chartered Institutes arbitrators, is it, for example, now shall it come under New York Convention to be implemented or to be enforced, or do you have to go to the court to implement it as you did do for the Saudi center or any other center?
So now I will dissect this into three different segments. The number one is, since in UAE you have Chartered Institute UAE branch, and at the same time you have got DIAC. DIFC is no more there. So DIFC is the supervisory court on top of the arbitration center. So if something goes wrong in the arbitration center, you go to the DIFC court, not to the local UAE Arabic court. So this is the relationship between DIFC, the international court, we call it International Financial Court, and the arbitration center. But how do you go to DIAC? Or why not you're going to the national court system, or why not you're going to the CIArb? So it depends on the arbitration clause, which has been negotiated, drafted, settled, and then inserted in that contract. So if the two parties, they are happy to appoint the Chartered Institute to be their appointing authority, plus if the parties are happy to have ad hoc arbitration versus as compared to the institutional arbitration, yes, this is possible. This is how it works. So the contract will have CIArb UAE branch as their dispute resolution forum, and in case of a dispute, the matter will then be sent to the CIArb branch. And of course, there are other factors that also they are also involved in choosing, because ad hoc arbitration, you only have to pay money to the arbitrator. And for example, an arbitrator charges between, if it is an international case, between, like, let's say between $40,000 to $50,000 if it is one arbitrator. But if the same case goes to an institutional arbitration center, so that $50,000 is then converted to $200,000, because they are providing you with their entire infrastructure. They are giving you with case managers. They are putting somebody on top of the arbitrator. They are checking the award. There are certain benefits of getting an award from the Arbitral Institute, but that comes with the cost. So if you want to spend $200,000, you go to the institute, and if you don't want to spend that much amount of money, you go to go for ad hoc arbitration. Now the other question comes in: once you have got the award, what are you going to do? So the New York Convention, which Mr. Babar just mentioned, New York Convention is for the enforcement of the award, which has been rendered or issued in one country, but we want to enforce it in the other country. For example, if I don't know how many of you know that one of the planes of PIA was being stopped at the Malaysian airport. There was an arbitration against government of Pakistan, which was conducted in the United Kingdom, and then award was then taken to Malaysia, and they used that as an opportunity to freeze the plane, which was parked within the Malaysian court's jurisdiction. So they said they have got an asset. So you can go to any jurisdiction who has signed the New York Convention, and then you can request that specific jurisdiction. The jurisdiction is the country. So you go to that country who has to be part of the New York Convention signatory bodies, and they have signed New York Convention. They are bound that any foreign arbitral award will be enforced. So the Malaysian court enforced the award, and they restricted the flight of PIA aircraft, and then the government had to pay money. But for example, if you have got a degree against the government of Pakistan, and you know there is a Rose Valley Hotel in New York, which is owned by PIA, which is worth maybe $40 million or $50 million, you can go to the New York court and you can get that asset attached. So this is how this methodology of enforcement of foreign arbitral awards work. But then it also depends. For example, if I come back to the UAE market, whether the parties are foreign parties, they are local parties, so it depends on that as well. The foreign arbitral award will be relevant in those cases where you have got a state involved, or you have got parties from other jurisdiction. But for example, if it is an international contract being executed in UAE, maybe the employer must be the not must be, but like the employer must be the local party, or it can be a public sector organization or a private developer like Emaar. But the contractor is from China, or maybe the contractor is from Pakistan. So now it is an international contract. Most of these contracts, it depends whether the Chinese counterpart, they are happy to have their dispute resolved in UAE against the sheikh or against the local party, whether they are comfortable, or at the time of signing such a contract, most of the contract which are being performed in the UAE, they don't take the UAE arbitration centers to be the dispute resolution center. Maybe they give mention of Hong Kong arbitration center to be their dispute resolution center, because you need to have a neutral forum, not a local forum where you are trying to adjudicate against the local party. So there are number of other factors also involved, which you need to see at the time of developing that arbitration clause, and then about which route you have to undertake. It was a big segment. I hope, Babar, I've answered the questions.
Yeah,
related
very
to
clear
this.
to me. Yes, very clear to me.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, thank you very much, and thanks for bearing with us, actually. Because it's a very lengthy session, it seems, just for the question and answers. We still have 3 questions. I think maybe you have answered them before. One is from Mr. Abdurrahim Bajwa. He's a QSAP Vice President in UAE. So his question is about the exams, that because in RICS we have a written exam. So how does it go in CIArb?
It's the same. It's the same. The branch only charge for the training fee, and we provide the training. The examination fee is separate. But when you will write down the email to the branch, they will send you with all these details about the fee structure and the examination fee structure as well, the tutoring fee and the examination fee.
Thank you. Mian Sahab, next question. The fee structure, about the fee structure. I think the next 2 questions, the next question from Mr. Chaudhry Imtiaz. He's our president for QSAP UAE chapter. His question is about the fee, and Abdurrahim Bajwa, again, he just asked a question about the fee. So please, if you can clarify on the fee.
So for fee, I mentioned that there are different fee for like every module has got a different set of fee. So in order to get those fees, you need to write down, you need to first choose, or you can ask for the entire course diary to be sent down to you through email. So for those who are interested, they can either send a WhatsApp text on the number I've just mentioned, or you can send an email to them. Question 2 is, we will be sharing some personalized, some customized fee structures with QSAP in days to come. And hopefully that will, and then QSAP then circulate those fee structures, which will be a little discounted than the already discounted fee which we are offering in Pakistan.
Thank you, Mian Sahab. Mr. Abdurrahim Bajwa, again, he's asking about the type of exam, written or any interview or something like
that. Written. For module 1. So we have got the only interview which you need to undertake is for the fellowship after the written exam. So for introduction to ADR course, it's an online exam. All the exams are online. You sit at the comfort of your home. Usually we give a 48-hour window for module 1. Once you log into the account, you have got 48 hours to search Google and books and whatever you can do in order to come up to the answers. But you need to undertake exam. You are tested for every single skill set. This is how we maintain the The quality for module 1, most of it's an essay type question where we have got 2 different formats. And for introduction, it's multiple choice questions. So yes, you have to. It's an online exam, and you have to undertake the exams as per the module.
Thank you, Mian Saab. One last question about the mediation I would ask actually. I think we in Pakistan we have in some civil law cases and some domestic let's say affairs we have the mediation at some level, but not as now you have mentioned that there will be some courses CIArb is offering. So how the young engineers or the professionals they should see their future in mediation, because of the fact that we just spoken about the arbitration, that even the enforcement, sometimes the parties they don't agree to pay each other or settle even with the adversarial methods. So how do you see the mediation, the future of mediation, how we can bring young professionals to take these courses and how they can practice in future?
There is just one thing, Babar, I would like to inform everyone, every single one who has been taking out time listening all this. The world was shifting towards the ADR methodologies in the 90s. All the major arbitration legislations, for example, England, for example, Singapore, and other jurisdictions, for example, India, it was enacted in 1990s. Up until now, 2024, Pakistan is like lagging behind almost 30 years. And I see, ever since I have been appointed as the chair, we have developed a Domestic Arbitration Act draft, which is before the Supreme Court. And in 2024, the new arbitration legislation will be enacted. So what does that mean? It means that the courts, just like in England, you just cannot come to the court directly. You have to do some sort of alternative or out of court settlement attempt, and you can only come to the court if that attempt fails, which means that if the same methodology is implemented in Pakistan, what I see is we don't have qualified pool of experts available in Pakistan. I call it's the pressure cooker is going to burst, and all that stuff will be everywhere. So for next 7, 8, 9 years, no matter how much number of professionals we train, still the flow of work will be way too much. It's like we have got 2.2 million backlog of cases in the courts, and we have got 100,000 cases being piled up in the courts every year. So the earlier the better. The same wave I saw for the first time when I was when I qualified as a lawyer in 2002, 3, 4. When there was a concept of corporate lawyers. So the lawyers who started to call themselves corporate lawyers, they made a lot of money because that was the new thing, that was the new profession which was building up. So this arbitration and ADR is the new profession which is building up. And I don't know how much of you know, like the construction industry in Pakistan, predominantly, they don't go to the courts. Most of them, NHA, FW, NLC, and especially all the CPAK contracts and any contracts we have got, construction contracts which we have ADB involved, World Bank funding, or such other development bank funding, they're all arbitration. So all these contracts are already into arbitration, and then other segments will also come in. But besides Pakistan, people who like yourself who are in other parts of the world, like Middle East, you are best positioned to promote yourself as a mediator as well, because this mediation techniques, they're also used in construction industry and other industries as well. For example, oil and gas, EPC contracts, as engineers, you're suited and qualified to act as a mediator between the two parties. And I see as an opportunity, because when I got the opportunity to be in another jurisdiction, this is where I started to develop my portfolio or my career as an international practitioner. So people who have got the opportunity, who are working in Middle East, they have that platform readily available. You have got the access to go and network with these with these big firms, whether they are in construction industry or oil and gas and power sector. And mediation is the latest new thing. So from 90s up until now, arbitration was the norm. But now arbitration has become way too expensive, especially if we talk about international arbitration. So it now starts from at least $500,000. This is the fee the councils charge, the amount of money you have to pay to the arbitrators, and the administrative other expenses. So people are not willing to spend that much amount of money. They want to try mediation, and if it fails, then it's all right. Let's just give maybe 5,000, 10,000 pounds as compared to $500,000. It's sensible, it's pragmatic. Why not to just give it a try? Maybe from one day of negotiations, we might uh, get some answer. So I think this is the thing which is being populated, mediation and arbitration both. You need to see, because not everybody can become a mediator. You have to be a really, really, really cool, calm, and active listener in order to become a mediator. And for arbitrator, this is fine, because with the stroke of a pen, you're acting like as a judge. You can dominate. You can provide a decision. But in mediation, you have to just listen to the parties and try to bring them closer together.
Thank you very much, Mian Sheraz Saab. Thank you very much. Really, we are pleased, and we are really honored to have you today with us. And I think having this conversation with you and the question and answers, really, I'm really proud that we will have this collaboration. And I hope that we get and we maximize the mutual benefit from this collaboration, inshallah. So I think because of the fact that you have given your number, so I think your WhatsApp will be flooded soon, inshallah, with the queries if someone has still have. And for the fee, I think many people will be interested to ask for the fee. And really, it was a very insightful event with you today, and we are very thankful. Mr. Laik or Mr. Yes. Yeah, please.
I'm sorry.
Please
I
continue.
just wanted to pay my gratitude. Thank you so very much for inviting me. This engineering segment is really close to my heart. And I am available for any sort of queries. The number which I gave is the official CIArb number. But if you want to contact me, I've just mentioned my LinkedIn profile. I answer almost every message that I get on LinkedIn. So if you've got if you need any mentoring, guidance, if you have got any professional difficulty coming in, and if you think I'm appropriate, I can give you any sort of opinion, advice, or anything. I am available for my fellow engineers, and it's really a pleasure to be here, having this chit chat with through the forum for QSAP, and I'm really truly grateful to you, Babar and Laik Saab, and other fellow presidents and vice presidents from other parts. I've met a couple of them, and you're doing a really wonderful job.
Thank you, sir. I think I just saw two more questions. I don't know if it's okay. We can close if you want, or if you want, we can just have these two questions. If you allow us.
Like Hassan Sir,
yes,
without having Pakistani construction industry experience, Middle East, how can serve as a mediator? I think, like sir, Middle East experience is way more greater than the experience in Pakistan, because we are still struggling with the Pakistani client, which I have seen is we are still giving them the advices and the trainings on FedEx. So people who have got exposure in Middle East, they are far more trained. As mediator, you need to first become an accredited mediator. You can do it from CIArb or from any other organization. And with this 25 years of experience, I think somebody of that stature is totally dot on time, who is qualified enough to become mediator, and I think they can even act as an arbitrator. The next question is from Khalid. There's experience. What is your advice for a newcomer to join as international arbitration or mediation? Khalid, it depends which part of the world are you in. If you are in Pakistan, mediation can give you a real quick fix, because of that Islamabad High Court thing. The moment you'll get your 40-hour accredited mediation training, you then straight go to Islamabad High Court. They will put you up on that board, and you will start getting the work, because most of the people, they are not engineers. So this construction disputes will then be referred for mediation, not just from Islamabad High Court, but also from the Pindi bench of Lahore High Court. And we are also struggling to have the same set of rules being implemented by Sindh High Court, Peshawar, and Lahore. And then Lahore is the biggest market. So for that local stuff, things will start to come in. I just can't say for international arbitration, you need to be very patient, and you need to have some extra money available for your personal self-development, because it's not just one course which will then make you visible in the international arbitration industry. You need to spend some time. So we say around 4 to 5 years, when you need to develop that persona and that networking in order to promote yourself as an arbitrator. But for construction industry, arbitration is also relevant. It's really difficult for me to pick one, whether international arbitration or mediation, which is why I will link it with that local stuff. So for example, in Middle East, I think for mediation can be a good start. Even outside Middle East, there are a number of other places where, for example, in Northern African countries, there is a lot of construction activities going on. So you can promote yourself in that part of the world as a neutral national, not based in North Africa, and then you can start getting that mediation or international arbitration work.
Thank you, Mian Sheraz. Also, I will take this opportunity to congratulate you. Just recently, I saw that you have been quoted in one of the Lahore High Court court case. So that was actually a very proud moment to see that. So if you want to say something about that, you're welcome.
Thank you so very much. It was actually the courts, they consult me as amicus. So amicus is somebody who is appointed as an advisor to the court when there is something court needs advice on. So it was the Rawalpindi bench of the Lahore High Court, which was a case pending since 1989 by a Dutch development bank. And I was asked about whether the court can push the parties or force the parties to go and do some sort of mediation, because it is all consensual method. You have the parties both of the parties, they have to agree and write down the clause in the contract. And then since I work in England, so I was consulted to give the point of view which is going on in England at the moment. So there is a very strange judgment which has been announced, I think 3-4 years ago. If somebody wants to read, it's a very big thing going on. It's called the Churchill case, in which the Court of Appeal in England, departing from their 150-year stance, they have now, through their judgment, they have said that the court can force the parties to go and mediate. And if mediation fails, then we can carry on with the litigation in the courts of England. So taking on that view, so this case in the Pindi bench, that was Morga Valley case, the Honorable High Court taken those views from the Churchill case, which I assisted them, and then they said, since Pakistan is even worst in terms of the backlog of cases, so I think the court can push the parties to at least go and do a one-day job, try to settle the matter, and if it fails, come back. So the matter which was pending since 1989, it got settled in 2 sittings. So happy days, everybody is celebrating that. But then this academic discussion remains whether the party's will is required, because you cannot force somebody. The courts cannot force a party. They can only interpret the contract. They cannot form a contract. They cannot bring new terms. But you can do that through legislation. We can bring new legislation in, just like England, that you have to undergo some sort of mandatory ADR of mediation. So compulsory mediation is everywhere in EU as a matter of legislation. So we can introduce that thing. But at the moment, since we don't have that legislation available, so these courts are doing some wonderful job. So they are trying to make the environment conducive of ADR, so we can. It's like between 10 to 15 years. Everybody knows what's happening in Pakistan at the moment. So we need to bring some other things which can help those serious players of the relevant quarters who don't want to delay the matter. They have got serious dispute and they just want somebody to cross check it, verify it, adjudicate and decide it so that they can move on to the other thing.
Thank you very much, Mia Saab. Thanks again. And I would like to ask Mr. Laik Hassan and Mr. Zahid if they want to have some words. And we all are thankful to Mia Saab.
Sorry, I was unaware. Like Saab is here. If I can have a couple of minutes to extend my gratitude. Thank you so much, Leksa, for this wonderful opportunity and for heading up such a prestigious organization. On behalf of the Chartered Institute, we have been thinking of coming up with some further discounted rates for the referees, which will be referred by QSAP. So somebody from the branch will get in touch with you, with Zaid Saab or with Babar Saab, and we can further talk about it.
Sure. Thank you so much, Mia Saab. This is Laik here. First of all, I mean, you no need to say thanks to us. Actually, we should thank to you. You actually a busy person. We can see you on the LinkedIn. Your activities, first of all, is super. I mean, what you're doing for the community, what you have done for the CIArb in Pakistan by opening that chapter, is really marvelous. I mean, that's something which is never done previously in the history of Pakistan. What you have done, what you are doing, that's on a commit. It's not something you are here, that's I'm saying, but really, I mean, you are doing what the job you are doing in terms of in professional and in dispute work. I mean, that's really tremendous. So thank you so much, Miyasa, first of all, giving us time. And yes, no need, I mean, to say that that we will definitely doing collaborate with the CIArb and do some more events, do some more activities, some more informative session like today's. And because since our lots of members, they were interested to get this membership through CIArb Pakistan chapter. That's the reason Zahid Saab requested you. And of course, he is the one who is coordinating on behalf of QSAP with yourself. So thank you so much once again for that. And the fees structure you are giving to offer a QSAP member. So I mean, on entire behalf of QSAP, I'm really thankful for you. And hopefully, whenever you plan, I know you keep on visiting everywhere except Saudi Arabia. So that's my complaint. You must plan visit to Saudi Arabia. So at least we will get a chance to meet you in person.
Inshallah. We are having Pakistan International Disputes Weekend in Karachi in 10th and 11th of May. And if you see anything that can be done for QSAP through that event, that whole event is available for you.
Inshallah. Sure. Thank you so much once again, Miyasa. Thank you so much.
Yes, Mr. Zahid. He asked Mr. Zahid if you want to have some words.
Thank you very much, Mian Sheraz for sparing some time for QSAP. Again, that for the members, our members, this is a good time for them to upgrade their membership for the CIArb, because one time I contacted the UAE branch, they were asking around 30,000. So it's too expensive for people to pay and to go ahead with that. And what I understand, the CIArb Pakistan, they are offering really good discounted rates. So the other thing, these memberships, they provide like a glamour to your CV, and how good performer you are, you can only prove that after you get your job. And the first thing, the CV is attracting the recruiter and the employer. That's very important to add glamour to your CV, to stay competitive in the market. So from my side, once again, thank you very much, Mian Saab, and we will hope that we will have more sessions in near future. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Zaid. I remember. Thank you so much. You came down all the way in Doha, and I am available with the truth, with all my spirit. I keep on reiterating. I chased Pakistan Engineering Council because engineering is my passion. Like I say, I'm a barrister by profession, I'm still engineer by heart, and I'm available for QSAP anytime for anything I'm capable of. And thank you very much.
Jazakallah.
Thank you all the attendees, and thank you Mian Sheraz Sahab. Thank you very much, and the recording for this session inshallah will be available soon, and you will know about this event on the LinkedIn, I think, of CIArb as well. Maybe Mian Sahab's teams, they will also have some snaps and some information about this webinar, and on the QSAP page also you'll find it. Thank you everyone. Thank you Mian Sahab. Thank you everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Bye.